series. So welcome everyone on our Tuesday pod. It is happy 4th of July. I'm in America right now and it's early morning and I've had a request from the lovely Mari like, why are you not dressed up? So this is a quick change thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about our third thing of overcoming objections. And as I said, how can you say no to me? Oh my gosh. I mean, we're all about fun. We just are all about fun. So hang on 2 seconds and we're going to get this going here. All right. So, what we have been, I think this is our 4th week, and we've been talking about overcoming objections, which of course was from my coach, Jerry Rosenthal, which is great. And real quickly, this always just builds confidence. And if you haven't been on my other pods, I would recommend that you get on and look at those, because each one of these I broke down in depth. But if you practice overcoming objections, that's where you're going to feel really confident, because I even get no's. And like, I got a no yesterday when I asked somebody, and she's like, I'm so super busy. I did get a coffee chat with her, but I'm going to talk about the time one. But there are 5 common objections, which is not enough time, not enough money. I'm going to address the pyramid scheme today. I'm not a salesperson. I have dealt with the time, money, and the salesperson one in the last 3 weeks. So those are all recorded for you. And I need to discuss this with my spouse. I'm going to do a big summary with all of these and do a big role play. I'm not sure it's going to be next week because I'll probably be flying or on my way to the airport, but maybe the following week. And you just have to remember that when they object, it's just because they just need more information and they have concerns. So we want to stay calm and we don't want to go running into the hills screaming, going, ah, you know, I don't know what to say. So, okay, you're busy, or yeah, whatever. Okay. So you have to, there's 3 parts. Align, which is where we want to make sure that they know that we heard what their concern was. So I totally understand how you feel, or I totally respect that. Like the lady yesterday when she was messaging me, because we were doing it through private messaging, she's like, you know, I'm super busy. And I came right back and I said, I understand that you're super busy because of what you're doing. Okay. The second one is to isolate it. You want to make sure that that is the only concern that they have. So what you say is, other than being super busy, is there any other reason that would prevent you from moving forward to either join my business or buy the products? And you want to listen, because usually if they throw out, I'm super busy, or I don't have enough money, it's usually a throwaway line. Not always, but most of the time, those are throwaway lines, because it's really easy to come up with that because they don't know. And so just remember that when you hear, I don't have enough money or I don't have enough time, it's usually that. Now, I'm not saying that sometimes those won't be true, but usually those are throwaway lines. And then we want to do this third part, which is transition, which is where we want to go in one level deeper. And that's where we say, you know, would you mind if I shared with you what someone shared with me when I had the same concern and it totally changed my way of thinking? I have yet to get a no, because they're curious, you know, and you're not coming in as a hardball. You're coming in as just, you know, would you mind? And so that's really great verbiage. So again, align, isolate, and transition. Okay. And when they see the value in what we're presenting, then they're going to join, or they're going to really take a serious look at it. But usually is when they don't see the value. It's just like us. I mean, we see you know, like when somebody offers you something and you just say, no, thank you. And try this on. Just try this on. I mean, when you say instantly no, it's probably because you don't see the value, or whether you're not interested, and that's okay. I mean, people are going to say they're not interested in us, but it's also the same thing as we just don't see the value. So therefore, why should I be interested? Okay. All right, so we've already talked about I don't have enough time. I've already talked about I don't have enough money. And last week I talked about I'm not a salesperson. This week we're going to talk about, is this one of those pyramid schemes? Now I will have to say that I'm getting less and less of this objection. And I'm A, thrilled. And B, the reason for that is if you think about it, there are a lot of network marketing companies that are starting to pop up, and that people are getting used to this idea. And the fact is that you aren't hearing about those slimy network marketers. Not that they don't exist. I mean, even, you know, we can even come across pushy Arbonne consultants, which we don't want to be, and that's how people view that. But we don't have, you know, because, and this is a great thing for you to say, is that when somebody says a pyramid scheme, you have to rest assured in your heart that you know it's not, for a couple reasons, okay? Number one reason is that we have a agency that protects us, that it's like the networking police, okay? So that we belong to. And I'm drawing a blank. What's the name of it? Amy, what's the name of it? Oh my gosh.
DSAA, Direct Sales Association.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah, it must be the Seeing Through the Stars. Yeah, the DSAA, which is the Direct Selling Association of Australia, or the Direct Selling Association of America. And that is the police. Those are the you want, you know, when I would say, when I really get into a in-depth conversation with somebody, is that whatever networking company they join, they want to make sure that they are aligned with that. Now, I'll tell you right now, Roads and Fields, they are not. They are not a member of the DSA. That's a huge concern. And, you know, we never want to put down, and I'm not putting down that company, but boy, I sure wouldn't want to be joining that company or any company that's not a member of that. Okay. The second thing is the reason we are not, now I'm going to give you some verbiage, but I'm giving this for you, is that because for example, I still have to work. I still have to work my business. Now, do I have to work my business like I did when I first joined, like, you know, go out there, like, you know, and do lots of presentations? Well, I do if I really want to create some more energy and direct to me. But do I always have to do that? No. But I do have to continue to work it, because otherwise Jody or Alana or Celeste, anybody that's direct to me, or even anybody can overtake me. That's why this is not a pyramid scheme. A real pyramid scheme is that no one can jump above a top person. Okay? So that's for you to know that, yes, we always, and that's why Arbonne creates the platform that they have with, you know, you want to get 3 or 4 directs, okay, and you're constantly moving up. And instead of, you know, if you had, let's say that I signed on Celeste, and I just sit back on my laurels, and Celeste is just working her little bums off, and, you know, she's just cranking in the preferred clients and the consultants, and I'm just sitting there riding it up. That's a pyramid. In Arbonne, Celeste would overtake me. So that's why we are not a pyramid. It is so perfect. And I'm seeing that word is spelled wrong. Finally, I'm seeing pyramid is spelled wrong. Celeste, you didn't pick that up on me. Is it pyramid spelled wrong on my slide? No? Oh. No, I suppose not. Okay, I'm looking at that wrong. Okay, so let's get to, it must be the glasses. It's got to be the glasses. I'll take the glasses off. All right, so let's go to, what are you going to say? So when you get the objection of, oh, is this one of those pyramid schemes? Okay, this is usually because they think that, you know, you get bunches of money because of, and you're just sitting there. Okay, so what you want to say is, you know, because you've already known what they're doing. So if they're in any corporate job, this would apply. You'd say, so, like, kind of like your job. And they're going to go, what? What do you mean my job? And you say, well, first of all, you need to know that pyramids are illegal. Okay? And pyramids are where people invest money, but there's no product or service moving. We are a legal business because we get paid on what people purchase. Okay, so product is moving, all right? Now, you're going to explain the different levels of a job. So when you say, so like your job, if it's in pyramid or if it's in a corporate or if it's, so say for example, I love using the example of Meyer or Myers if you're in America, okay? So I always say this. I always say, so how many CEOs are in Meyer? So somebody play with me. Who wants to play with me? Come play with me.
1.
Okay, thank you, Amy. All right, so there's 1 CEO. Okay, so and underneath that, Amy, there's a board of directors, which is middle management, and then there is your salespeople, correct?
Yep.
And then so then you get your cash registers, all right, the people that are running the registers. You've got your stock people, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you usually have a cleaning group, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there any other levels in Meyer that I would be missing?
No, I think that covers mostly everyone.
Okay. All right. So what is the chances, Amy, of a stock boy to become the CEO of Meyer?
Slim. It might take a while.
Okay. And what would the stock boy need to do to become CEO?
He would probably need some form of, extra education, lots more experience in the business, hands-on learning and training, I guess, and probably for the CEO to drop off his perch.
That's right. That's right. Because there's only 1 position. So when you really look at it, Amy, every corporation has a pyramid structure where only 1 person is making money on the efforts of everyone, and that person is the CEO, right? I mean, even think of the post office, all right? So the question you need to ask yourself, Amy, is do you want to be the person who owns that pyramid and you work for the one, or do you want to be the one who works for the one who owns the pyramid? Choice is up to you.
I definitely want to be the person making all the money.
Okay. So then I go into the fact is, and before I probably would get to that last statement, I would be really clear on the fact is of what I shared with you with, for example, with Celeste, is that it's fair. I have to work my own business, and that Arbonne sets it up that I can't just write it up. Whereas the CEO in Meyer or the post office or anywhere else, they can sit up there in that ivory tower for a very, very long time, and make the money off of the working people. But I am very happy that this, and you're going to get particularly people at my generation, they still carry that, but the Gen Ys, the Gen Xs, they don't really have any information. They don't understand that. And it goes back to the early, early days of Amway. If you think of Amway, and that's one of the reasons that kept me for a while out of this business because of Amway. I grew up only 2.5 hours away from Amway. And again, I don't want to put a company down, but I am very grateful for all the mistakes that Amway did, because they made it so that the DSAA had to come about. And there were some, there were other companies that did it too that were schemy, and so they had to protect. So I am grateful for all those mistakes. I'm also not grateful for all those mistakes because they did all the trickery. And if you listen to Lisa Gill's Go for Gold, it talks about how the woman, she got invited into a lunch and they told her it wasn't Arbonne, which wasn't cool. I mean, it turned out okay, but that wasn't cool. And that's why none of us in our nation ever do that. We make sure that people know what they're coming to and that they want to, because, that's just how, we want to be true to who we are. But that's all comes with coaching and things. So is there any questions from anybody that wants to, does anybody want to talk about this? No? Any reactions?
I had never thought of it like this, Lynn, and I've never heard any coaching on this. So I'm really, really pleased that I'm on this tonight, because I knew that pyramid schemes were illegal, and that's my usual comeback. And honestly, I've only been asked it a few times. Like you said, most people understand that that's not the way things are anymore. But this is perfect. This just explains it so well. I don't know anyone who would look at that and not understand that every business is run like a pyramid scheme. Mm-hmm. Every corporate business, definitely.
Mm. Rita, there's also an awesome little cartoon on YouTube that explains this really well too.
Great.
Yeah, I can't remember who did it. One of the UK consultants, I think, voices it.
Yeah.
I'll have a look.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so, and actually a couple years ago, even before I got coached, my stepdad is a CPA. And he even brought this up to me. He said, Lynn, corporate America, because I was in America at the time, is a pyramid scheme. And he actually explained that format of, the one CEO. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then in my coaching, I got the same thing. And I just think that's really great. It doesn't mean you're going to change, particularly people, like I said, my age, it's hard to get them to think it's not, because it's just so foreign to them, or older. But in younger, I mean, it's great. But at least it gives you something to come back at, and you have more confidence. Yeah. What did you say? I think Amway has been rebranded too, by the way, its reputation. Yeah, it is true. So anyway, with that, I hope that will help you handle any objections. As I said, please make sure that you go back and look at the other ones if you have any concerns or questions. And I'm always happy to coach you one-on-one, or if you have any questions on this, because I do believe that this is one area that we definitely need to become very professional, and that you don't feel rattled, because you got to stand firm and believe, and what we do is fantastic, and it's not for everyone, and that's okay. But it sure is for a lot of people. And a lot of people are looking for what we've got. So by taking away their first fear, and then kind of really diving into it more, I'm a walking example of that. I'm so glad that I got over the fact of what my snags were, because boy, it sure changed my life. So thank you all for getting on. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful weekend. Happy 4th of July.
Thanks, Lenny.
Bye.
Thanks, Lauren.